I have a couple, so like, pick which sexual harassment story you'd like.
My name is Sara and I've been covering technology since 2012.
My name is Laurie Segall, and I've been covering technology for 7 years. I was supposed to meet with an entrepreneur, had like a normal meeting set up to talk about startups, and this investor messaged me and said, "Have you slept with so-and-so yet?" The person I was supposed to meet. I said, "Are you serious? How inappropriate are you?" I said, "That's an awful question to ask." And he said, very antagonistic, dropped the whole Puritanism. And I said, "It's not Puritanism, it's professionalism." He asked me who I was dating, and I said, "Why do you want to know about my personal life?" And he said, "You're supposed to be the reporter. Wouldn't it be weird if you became the story?" Like, that's a threat. Like, that's like, I'm gonna threaten your reputation. To have someone so blatantly text you at like 2 in the morning, who is in a position of power, threaten all those things you worked for, doesn't feel good. Looking back at like myself 5 years ago, I'm like, Segall, stop, do not even engage, like don't pass go, don't collect $200, like this guy's horrible.
Talking sexual harassment in tech is complicated because everybody has their own idea of what is appropriate, what crosses the line for them.
There's sexual assault, there are things that are blatantly crossing the line, and then there's this like whole gray area of like all of these things that happen that are unjust, that are harder to identify and they're harder to put your finger on.
You know, a lot of this is when the power lies with a lot of men, a lot of white men, then there's the potential that other voices aren't necessarily getting heard.
It's also complicated, and we struggle with this, I think, when you want to elevate the voices of female entrepreneurs. Any badass woman like doesn't want to just be covered because she's female. Like, she wants to be covered for what she's doing.
It's super, super hard to come forward, especially if you're doing so by name. A lot of women for so long have been told not to come forward, that it will ruin your reputation, that you will become that woman that is known for speaking out about sexual harassment. Over the years, I have covered several stories of, you know, one woman having a male investor touch her breast. There was a lot of outrage, and then not a lot gets done.
I was at an event, and I had just done another onstage interview with someone, and it had gone really well. And he said, you know, the reason people like our interviews is because like we have, you know, sexual chemistry. I was like, what? No, like maybe I'm just good at my job. Like maybe I just ask you challenging questions. I think about how much work and effort goes into like telling people's stories. You think like years later, you've earned that respect. You deserve it. You've covered the stories, you've broken news, you're in the room, and still perceived in a certain way. It's cool to see a lot of these people kind of coming out and telling their stories, because like it happens so much and it's so accepted.